Okay, I've had a lot of questions about the sun catchers that I made with my little nieces. So I thought I'd do a quick video and just explain how we did them. It's really simple, but sometimes it helps to see a little demo. So in terms of what you put in the sun catchers, it can really be anything. I recommend natural things, mostly because when they melt, you want to make sure you're not putting, glitter and plastic and stuff like that into the water stream or in the woods where animals might, pick them up, eat them, and not do very well with them. So what we used was fruit. We cut up some pieces of orange and kiwi that was just about to turn. We used some bird seed. I'm going to add a little bit more to that. And then I just picked up some stuff in the forest today. So some pine needles. We have some little cedar pieces. And then I had some flowers that I got a couple weeks ago that were just at the end of their lives, some fresh flowers. So I pulled apart the bouquet. We have petals, tulip petals, just little pieces that came from the flower bouquet, lots of these little purple petals, and also some greenery that was part of the bouquet. So anything like this that you've got, it's actually a great way to use so that's another piece of like fern-like greenery that was in the bouquet. It's a great way to actually use fresh flowers when they get to not being so fresh anymore. It's a beautiful way to recycle them or upcycle them and put them out into the world, because these little sun catchers look so beautiful hung in the forest or on your neighborhood trees. I've been putting some on neighbors' mailboxes if they've got little hooks on their mailboxes. So anyway, this is all you need. You need whatever you want to put in them. You need some string. So I'm just using like butcher's twine that I had on hand. And then you need a bunch of different molds, if you will. So this is a cake pan that I bought I think I got it at Michael's ages ago. I've had it for a long time. So this makes a really nice heart-shaped one. We're using also these molds, and I just got these at the dollar store, so really inexpensive, and they make very cute little, like very small ones that you can hang on smaller branches. And then we used just regular pie plates. I'm going to experiment with these to make bigger ones today. So honestly, anything you've got lying around. Some people recommend putting a bit of oil in the pan. Like if you've got cooking spray or whatever, that's not a bad idea. The silicone ones didn't need any help coming out. So if you've got sort of like the no stick coating on your pans, they'll be fine. Otherwise, I didn't use oil in this one when we made it first, and it was a bit tough to get out, but all we did was run a bit of hot water over the back and then it popped right out. So that's another option if you don't want to use oil. Okay, so we're going to start with this little heart-shaped mold, this cake pan. So the first thing you want to do is put your string in, and I've cut it so that it goes quite deep into the sun catcher, and there's enough out over the edge so that you've got something to hang with. And then it's this simple. You just start putting things in the pan. So I feel like that's going to look really nice. Okay, here's the heart-shaped pan, and we're just going to add water to it. So pour slowly. Some recommend using hot water because apparently that makes the ice more clear. I have no idea if that's true. I'm not using hot water. I'm just using regular room temperature out of the tap. So fill it almost all the way up. And then I just like to, once the water's in, you can see how things settle. Just move some of the bits around so you can do it so that the design looks as you want it to. That's going to look really nice. And again, just make sure your string is placed so that it's going to be a good hanger when it's frozen. Okay, so here's my heart molds ready for water. So Again, we just pour slowly, fill it almost to the top because of course the water will expand when it freezes. And we just put the water in, and then we're going to go back and just make sure everything is arranged the way that we want it to, and that our string is going to actually stay in a place that's helpful for hanging. But you can see it's good not to be too precious about the design of the leaves because and just the things that you put in, because they're going to move around once the water comes in. So I want to make sure everything is fairly submerged so that it will freeze inside of. It's going to look nice with the fern. And just make sure your string is underneath your elements, because we're going to hang them the way they're showing right now. So this will be sort of face up. So it's nice if we see less string. I was hoping these might actually end up looking like hearts, but a little bit maybe. So yeah, you just want to make sure everything's tucked into the water, the string's tucked underneath your main pieces, and that there's enough in the water, enough of the string in the water, so that it will make a really good hanger. And then it's ready to go outside. Here are the little heart molds all ready to go. They've got all of their stuff in them, they've got their strings in them, and they're ready to go outside. They're gonna look great. Here are my 2 pie plates. So these are gonna be quite big. Again, you just wanna make sure that your string is tucked underneath all of the main pieces, and that most of your stuff is submerged under the water, or at least you just want to make sure they get frozen in. And I made one final sun catcher out of the bowl that I had all of my little pieces in before. As I was finishing up, I'm like, ooh, that will make a nice one with the stuff I have left over. So I had a lot of greens, leftover pine and cedar, and some of the fruit. So I arranged everything in there and put a string in, poured the water over. So that's going to make a nice one too. And here they are outside, waiting for the cold to do its work. So because I've got some big ones here, these will likely take probably 2 or 3 hours. The little ones won't take as long. There you go. That's how you make them.